going off the last video about finding your heart, we're going to talk about breakups. And this is a very sensitive issue for some people. So if you feel offended or you feel like it's not right, let me know. And we can talk about that. But breakups happen too much, and they happen with too little emotions nowadays. Now, people, of course, when you date for years, the breakup's going to be very emotional, but you have to make sure, whether it's a day or 10 years, that you treat the breakup with the same amount of respect, the same amount of attention, the same amount of love. And when you do break up, make sure you set the guidelines for going on. Like, you can't just say, hey, we're breaking up, end of story. You have to establish things like, are you guys going to be friends after? If you are, what are the parameters? If you're not going to be friends, what are you going to be? Are you just going to be acquaintances? Or are you going to be like, hey, never talk to me again, block my phone number, this and that? All of it's perfectly fine depending on the circumstances of the breakup. But you have to establish this early, because you can't say nothing and in your mind say, I never want to see her again. But the next day she comes and thinks she's like your best friend, and then, everything's weird with you. So, like, make sure you set those immediately. But to help you out, when you break up, make sure you do it in the most respectful way possible. Don't go out and try to, like, destroy the person's heart. Unless you're cold, then go and destroy the person's heart. But that's not recommended. What you should do is think of how they were to you, how they are as a person, and formulate the best way to do it. Whether that's, going one-on-one conversation and, like, just, you pick her up, you take her to, like, Starbucks, you grab a Starbucks, you're sharing a Starbucks, then you break up. Or you go to her house and just, like, talk to her outside for a minute. Or, you're at school and it's, like, the last day before a break and you want to give her time to think about it. So you, like, call her down, like, hey, it's not working, I appreciate everything you've done for me if this past time, but it's just not going to work. I would respectfully like to tell you that I would like to thank you for everything, but it's time for me to move on, and then I hope we can still be friends. I'm going to go find other girls now, so please, understand that, and I hope you're fine with it, but in the end, this is a choice for me. You have to be respectful, and you have to respect them at the same time, because everything they say also applies. If you want to be friends, but they don't want to be friends, then you know what, maybe it's not good for you to pursue a friendship afterwards. But you have to set these things out, because if you don't, and you aren't respectful, then her friends that hear about the breakup or his friends that hear about the breakup are going to react very negatively or positive to it. Because if you're very respectful towards the breakup and her friends hear about it, then they won't hate you because you were respectful about it. And of course, they're going to dislike you for breaking up with her. But in the end, they're going to be like, hey, you know what? Jared broke up with, I don't know, Annis. Annis. That's not even a name. Alice, there we go. He broke up with Alice, but he was very respectful in doing it. So, jokes aside, make sure that when you're dealing with breakups, you do it in the most respectful way possible, and that thinking about their future and your future, and if it's not what is aligned right now in the relationship, that sometimes breakups are even avoidable when, like, this is going on. You could, like, separate for a bit. Say that you need to find yourself, or you guys need to, like, take some time to realize who you really are inside. That's fine, because maybe it's someone that has your heart and you have their heart and you could see a future together, but then you're going through a really tough time personally and you need to figure some things out. Then it's perfectly fine to go and say to that person, hey, like, we have things going on. Maybe it's best if we take a break for a little bit and such. And if they say yes, then you know that they understand you and they're fully cooperative and supportive with you. But if not, then you got to do your stuff. But my goal whenever I see a relationship of two people that are like the same person or of the same mind, people that you can read text messages or whatnot, talking to one person and the other person, and they seem like one person, or people that even when they're away, they're thinking of the other person all the time. My goal is to see them ultimately become like a further lasting couple, because it's a waste of time for people to be with someone just to be with someone. It is the perfect thing in life to go and know that you have a friend or yourself that feels every day when they wake up that their significant other, whoever, is the first person in their mind when they wake up and the last when they go to sleep. And through that whole day, their heart is just telling them, hey, I wonder how she's doing, and I hope he's having a good day. Because nothing beats life than not having anything to break off. If you're able to go through life just keeping everything beautiful and intact and no breakups and everything perfect, then there would be so much more positivity in this world.